Good morning, guys. It's currently 8:30 in the morning. I just got to the gym. So while I've been doing 75 hard, I've been trying to make it a habit of mine to go to the gym within the first hour and a half that I'm awake, and just making a habit of waking up, making my coffee, and then going to walk for an hour while I read my book. And let me tell you guys, drinking my morning coffee while reading my book on the treadmill has genuinely become one of my favorite parts of my day. But if you're new here, hi, my name is Ireland and I am just starting my YouTube journey, so excuse the quality. But it is my goal to create inspiring content for you guys so we can all live our best lives and just become the highest forms of ourselves. Today's video, I basically just wanted to take you guys with me on what my early mornings look like and hopefully inspire some of you guys to practice waking up early. Okay, because take it from a self-declared night owl, early rising is just better. It's better. I'm sorry. I used to be the type that would go to bed at 2 a.m. and then I wouldn't wake up until 11 or noon. Genuinely becoming an early riser, getting up some mornings at 4:30, 5 a.m. It truly is such a game changer. Waking up early and doing something productive really just sets up your whole day for success. I'm not going to be doing my morning coffee walk. Instead, we're going to be doing our morning Celsius walk because I already had my coffee, but I have my book. I just started reading Rich Dad Poor Dad and I'm already almost halfway through. Before this, I was reading The Mountain Is You, and I read this book I think in 5 days, and now I'm already almost done with this book, so we might have to go book shopping later. But I got my book, I got my protein bar, I got my Celsius, I got my water. Let's go get our morning walk in. Okay, it's a little bit later. I went to the gym. I did not plan to lift weights. That just kind of ended up happening. But because this whole video is about waking up early, I wanted to share some of my tips on how you can actually start waking up early. Because I feel like anybody can wake up once at 5 a.m., but doing it consistently is a whole different story. And just kind of explain how I went from going to bed at 1 a.m. to then waking up at 5 a.m. So here are my 5 tips for how to actually start waking up early consistently. Keyword is consistently. All right, tip number 1, and I feel like this one is obvious, but if you want to wake up earlier, you have to go to bed earlier. So for me, my average wake up time on the weekdays is normally between 5 and 6. And then I would say on the weekends, it's anywhere from 7 to 9. And 9 a.m. is a late wake up time now. If I'm sleeping till 9 or 9:30, for me, that's I basically slept past noon. That's what it feels like. So those are my average wake up times. My average bedtime, I really strive to be in bed between 8 and 8:30, which I know if you're somebody that goes to bed later than 10 or 11, going to bed at 8 seems so early. And it is, but it's also not. Like, you have to keep in mind that when you're trying to wake up early, the normal hours of your day are gonna shift. And so if you're somebody that's like eating dinner around 8 p.m., it's gonna seem so weird to try and go to bed that early. But that's kind of where I go into tip number 2, which is to be patient with yourself. Whenever you're trying to make these changes in your life, you have to think about it like you're changing your habits and you're changing your lifestyle. And that is just not going to happen overnight. Like, you have to think of waking up early kind of the same as if like you also want to start going to the gym. Like, you're not just gonna go from never going to the gym to going every single day. You're gonna have to build up to that, just the same as you're gonna have to build up to waking up at 5 a.m. I mean, I'm sure 1 or 2 days you could wake up at 5, but then you're gonna be exhausted and then you're just gonna end up sleeping in because you're so tired. So if you truly want to wake up early and you truly want to like adapt this early rising lifestyle, you have to slowly build up to waking up earlier, which then also means that you have to slowly build up to going to bed earlier. Okay, because if you go to bed later than like 11 p.m., there is just no way you're gonna be able to fall asleep at 8. So the tip for how to slowly start waking up earlier brings us into tip number 3, which is you need to have a routine. You need to have a set sleep routine. Like, if you're somebody where your average bedtime is in the span of like 4 hours,
it's just not gonna cut it.
You need to have like a set time that you go to bed and a set time that you wake up. It doesn't have to be at 5 a.m. Like, if your set time to go to bed is 11 and then you're waking up at 9, that's totally fine. You just need to keep that consistently, because then with that consistency, you're gonna be able to change it. Because if you're going to bed and you're waking up within a 4 or 5 hour difference every day, there's no like routine there for you to adjust. Okay, and don't get me wrong, as somebody that used to not have a sleeping routine, I know how hard it is to go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. Okay, but I promise you that if you don't have a set sleeping routine, no matter what time you go to bed or wake up, the more you have a consistent routine, the better you are going to feel. And then once you have your set routine, like let's say you go to bed at 11 and then you're waking up at 9, what you're gonna wanna start doing is instead of waking up at 9, you adjust that to 8:30. So you're just gonna slowly push back your wake up time and slowly build up to being able to wake up earlier. And then as you're gradually waking up earlier, you're gonna start feeling tired earlier in the day. Instead of feeling tired at 11, you're gonna start feeling tired at 10. And you're just gonna like slowly push it back. Key word is slowly, guys. I know following all these like fitness and motivation influencers, it's so easy to want to jump into like the early morning routine and grinding at the gym and eating super healthy and cooking all your food at home. I understand that it's very easy to get excited about that lifestyle, to want that lifestyle, and then to just try and do it all at once. Okay, but if you want to set yourself up to fail, change everything at once. If you want to set yourself up to succeed, you need to put in better systems and change over time. Okay, and remind yourself that we're in it for the long term, not the short term. Tip number 4 for waking up early is to have something in your house that can turn your lights on. And I know you're probably thinking like,
what am I supposed to use to turn my lights on for me?
Okay, but there's a few options. I'm sure most of you guys have seen the infamous like Hatch alarm clock. This thing is
$170.
and don't get me wrong, I definitely want one.
But I can't afford a $170 alarm clock, okay?
As you guys saw at the very beginning of this video, I do have an off-brand one that was like 30 bucks.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
I will say personally, I don't recommend the cheap one that I bought, but if a $30 or $40 alarm clock is still too much money, there's something else you can buy that I used before I got the alarm clock and then I actually prefer more than the alarm clock, and that is these little plugins. They're called Go Sound, I think, but basically what it is it's a plug that you plug into the outlet and then you plug like your lamp into that, and then you can control the power of the lamp on your phone. So like for my lamp in my bedroom, I have it on a timer to where it'll turn my lamp on at 5 a.m. And what's nice about it is that unlike the alarm clock, I can't just hit snooze. I have to like go into my phone and like manually turn it off, which just kind of creates like extra friction that prevents me from turning the light off. But let me tell you guys, having a light come on in the morning is so helpful. And even if you can't afford to buy any of that, or none of that is going to work for you, even just like forcing yourself to get out of bed and turn your bedroom light on before you get back in bed is going to make a world of a difference, because it is so much harder to fall asleep when there's a ton of bright lights on. All right, and then for my last tip number 5, nope, that's 10. For my last tip number 5, the most important thing for going into this journey of trying to wake up early is you need to have a very clear why. Like, get out a piece of paper, write in your journal, and just think to yourself, like, why is waking up earlier important to you? It is so important to have a clear why, because when you wake up in the morning, okay, it is not your alarm that's going to get you out of bed. It's not your lights turning on that's going to get you out of bed. It is you and only you that is going to actually get yourself out of bed and get yourself up. If you wake up and you're laying there and you're like,
why am I even bothering with this?
You're never gonna wake up early. Okay, because we all know it is so early to hit that snooze and fall back asleep. Because in the moment, that's what feels best, is to just go back to sleep. So I highly suggest that if you're going on this journey of like trying to have better habits and a better lifestyle and wake up early, get out some paper, write it on your phone, write it in your journal, but just like answer the questions like why you want to wake up early, why you think it's gonna benefit you, why this is important to you, how you think this is gonna make a difference in your life, what do you want to do with the extra time. Even for me this morning, I sat there for a second and I was like, I don't have to get up at 5. I could sleep in all day if I wanted to because I'm not working today. But just like taking that second in the morning to like sit there and like think about like why I wanted to get up in the first place. Like you have to have a better reason to get up than a reason to go back to bed. Also, the most important thing to remember is that you have to be patient with yourself. Okay, if you're trying to practice waking up early, you are not going to succeed at it every day. And that is just the process of building new habits. But every time you make that effort, every time you get up 20, 30, 40 minutes earlier is a step in the right direction and a step towards a better, healthier you. But that's all the tips I have for you guys. I'm gonna pack up my stuff and we're gonna go do some work at a cafe, and then I think I'm gonna end the video there.